Maybe movies. I'm kind of getting a suspicion that this one's going to be harder than the last one.
There are multiple places this might break.
It might, yes. Hello, and welcome back again to Maybe Movies. As always, I'm still Max.
And I'm still probably Sam.
And as you can probably guess, we're not sure how UnderLight is going to go. So we're going to kind of leap into it as quickly as we can.
Yeah.
Before we do, a quick shout out and also a call to arms, if you like.
Indeed.
For Last Dog Productions, who are doing a Kickstarter for their new film, Apocryphal, which is a sci-fi horror featuring none other than Maybe Movies' own Sam Terry. As I say, they've just started a Kickstarter on the 18th of
Indeed.
May, which is running through until the 18th of June. So please, if you want to support small filmmakers and local filmmakers, please do give them a look. Obviously, description will be... Done it again!
Mm-hmm. Yes, you have.
You can find the description in the link below. I suddenly have the opinion that if you make a mistake, just run with it.
Perhaps that is just the way to go.
You know what I mean. No doubt, over the next few weeks, we will remind you of it ad infinitum.
Oh, ad nauseum. But please, do check it out.
Ooh, yeah, that's when things get shaky in here. Nauseum in the delirium.
Oh, God, there's only so much volume, isn't there?
Yes. How are we still breathing?
I don't know. Why do you ask me these things?
Because I don't have the answer. We're going to kind of get into this while I pour out some blood. Let's have a look at some prelim stuff first of all. We're saying then, under the same auspices as that's too much, as Bella.
Mm-hmm.
Edward was turned the last time Victor was awake. So would that then make him slightly older than he is?
It would have to if we're going to make any kind of sense out of this.
Cool. The next one is obviously Bella.
Mm.
We allowed for the fact that Michael is of the Corvina strain, even though he was in Twilight. So are we saying that she is not of the Corvina strain? And in which case, what is it that's special about her? No,
that's not what we allowed at all. We allowed that she might have a connection to the Quileute.
I equated that to... That was the equivalent of...
Oh, it'd be the equivalent of, in order for the plot to operate...
She needs to be of that strain.
Yeah,
fair enough.
We don't have a plot at all if she's not.
No, the only reason why I asked, because my natural inclination there was to look for alternatives. Mm. And what you were saying before about her gift, about this ability to mask herself, is that something that in some way that the werewolves desired? I was clutching at straws.
Oh, I see what you mean, right. Hmm.
But you're right. That aspect of that character is so ingrained into the entire plot that we cannot...
Yeah, it's literally, it's all about the bloodline.
Yeah. That's fine. And then the only other question that I had really well, for Edward it doesn't really matter. He just happens to have been in Hungary at the time when, for whatever reason.
Yes.
And hasn't left. But why is Bella there?
Depends how much room we give ourselves to play with. I mean, obviously at the beginning of the movie, she's at the beginning of her final year of high school. She's almost 18. Mm. It's conceivable that she's actually turned 18 and she's taking a year out before going to college to travel Europe.
Okay.
Maybe to do some work exchange types of things. I mean, that's the problem. We never really know enough about Bella to know what she's interested in. But there are a number of reasons to be in Hungary. History, art...
Vampires.
Yeah, all sorts of stuff going on there.
I like that because, again... looking for things for reasons for her to be there.
Which would explain why Lucian strikes now, because now he's within his reach.
Nice. Yeah, no, that's better, because, again, looking for kind of parallels, my instant thought was her parents aren't divorced. They were killed in an accident, analogous to the accident that killed Michael's other half.
Why not? You know, I mean, a lot of people do the travelling thing, whether they go to Europe or India or whatever, to... Yeah. Quote unquote find themselves. Isn't that what you do after some sort of a tragedy like that? Mm. And you're utterly uprooted from your life and at the cusp of adulthood.
Yeah.
You're being forced to make decisions that you don't want to make, you're probably not ready to make.
I think that's a gold star each. I just came up with the idea and then you gave it the depth that it needed.
Okay.
So...
Yeah, how do we make the rest of this work?
Yes, first thing to note as well, which I kind of forget, as far as I can tell, the entire events of this film happen in one night.
No. No. It happens across about 3 or 4.
The closest thing that you get to a scene during the day is the opening scene, which looks like it's kind of late rush hour.
Well, for starters, he gets bitten on one night and it's the next night when the moon comes up.
Lucian says in 3 days' time, yes, he does. I think it's because there's never any suggestion that any of the vampires ever go to sleep during the day. They don't even address it in the film.
No, the film just skips over that. Nobody ever does anything during the daytime. Or you're underground in the sewers or something where you can't see the sunlight.
Okay, well, that's fair enough.
It's the world of darkness, basically.
Are we saying that Edward is a fully fledged death dealer, or is he in training?
Can't be a fully fledged death dealer. By definition, because he hasn't got the combat skills.
Yeah.
But he has got a unique skill set.
Which is why they've accepted him.
Yeah. He's impervious to sunlight and he's the ability to read minds, which makes him excellent at finding lupins.
Yeah.
Or Lycans, sorry.
Lupins.
Yeah, makes him very good at finding Lycans.
And he's very fast as well.
Yeah.
Yes. I did consider as well, if we wanted to keep the hospital aspect in the film, that while she's travelling, again, I know it's difficult to reach because there's nothing to suggest it, as you say, and you know better than me because you've read the books, what kind of work Bella is ever actually hoping to go into.
Bella is tabula rasa. Completely blank slate. That thing about the ballet studio, that is probably the most pertinent fact, outside of the fact that she wants to spend eternity with Edward, to her character at all.
Fucking hell.
This is why I argued that Michael is actually a slightly more developed character, because you know he's got a past, and he's got certain inclinations because of his profession, which is more than Bella has in the series. We can kind of just decide whatever we want about what she's choosing to do or be here for.
So kind of a perfect example of the Utopia mouse experiment.
Yes. Yeah, just
But look at me, I'm pretty.
I think he's an apprentice death dealer. His unique skill set has gotten him into the organisation.
I agree with that. I did wonder, as I said, as she's doing this travelling around the world, maybe she's taken some work as something like an HCA, like a healthcare assistant in the hospital.
It would give it some thematic qualities with the original plot, so why not?
Part of the reason why I thought that is it might actually instill some sense of a caregiver nature in her for things like in the Underground, where Michael goes to help the woman who gets shot.
Yes, that would be good. It would give her something.
Yeah.
I won't call it a layer, but we'll... it'll give her something.
A veneer?
A veneer. A veneer, that's great. Yes, that'll do. That'll do.
So, shall we start there then, with the chase in the Underground?
Right, well, I mean, I'm going to be honest. Given his skill set, I think that scene's going to more or less play out the same. Because although he's thoroughly inept with the weapons he's been given, he's largely immune to the weapons the Lycans are using at this point.
Yes.
And it's not until the very end of the confrontation that one of them shifts form. When they're well into the tunnels. Mm-hmm. And that's the only time that things get vaguely close to being dangerous.
I was going to say, I don't know if that when, again, in this situation, Edward's going to be the one who chases the Lycan into the tunnels. Mm-hmm. I don't even think he's going to get that far because Edward's so fast. As soon as he sees him running down the far side of the train, zip round and meet him, I reckon you'd finish him off sooner. Right,
now this is one of the things that's an assumed part of the thing for me. I just had an unconscious bias, but now you're saying this, it's making me realise this. That I had assumed, because you don't see them pull out the really funky weapons or shift forms, generally speaking, whilst they're in the view of humans.
So you're saying he's going to just suppress his abilities?
Forgive me with the RPG references once again, guys. There's an implied masquerade here.
Because Lucian's pissed off, isn't he? Because one of them shoots one of the vampires with the ultraviolet rounds in the station.
And it causes a scene. Yeah.
Okay, so that will all play out as you say,
more or less. Also, I mean, again, inept, but armed to the teeth with amazing technology. Now, the next part... the we have a problem/research thing is going to play very slightly differently because of Edward's unique abilities. He's going to sense the fact that they were in fact tracking someone. Mm. Probably doesn't know who, but knows that they were tracking someone, that they had a target. And so the research section isn't about trying to figure out what they were doing, it's trying to figure out who they were following.
I'd also throw into there, I suppose again, it's another surreptitious hello to terrible writing advice. We have a love triangle, because we've still got Erica in here, and obviously Erica's not in competition with Celine, so she probably fancies Edward.
Oh, yes, we do. Oh, goodness, well spotted there, gold star.
So that's why I thought that bit when she's looking over his shoulder when he's watching the footage and zooms in on the picture of Bella, she'd be running her down straight away.
Yes, I see what you mean. Different dynamics.
Yeah.
Different dynamics going on, yeah.
And then we get the envoy arrives from Amelia.
For the party. Get
Yes.
ready for the party.
Then we get all of the stuff with, what's his name?
Lucian and the doctor, whose name I never did quite pick up. Get our brief scene seeing Bella.
In the hospital with Wentworth Miller. I didn't realise that was Wentworth Miller.
I know, so young.
I know.
So very young. Yeah. Good old Captain Cold.
But I was thinking more from, wore my t-shirt, from Prison Break.
What's the first half season of Prison Break? It was not for me. It just was a little too contrived for me.
The first...
Having said that, I love him from The Flash, so contrived? I don't know. I just love comics.
Who doesn't? We won't get into that conversation. So then we get to, I suppose it will be the next kind of major scene is when Bella goes home and Edward's there. I don't think we've skipped over anything, have we? As far as I can see. We have missed over a bit. We've got the party, we've got Bella going home on her own, having a look at the photos.
Yes.
So that's where we get, that's about the closest we're going to get to the understanding was understanding that she had parents.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, we're not going to get a lot more than that, really.
And it's the police coming to the hospital.
Oh, of course, that's right, yes.
Which I must admit, that was one of the things in Underworld I did like. There was always that suggestion of, is Wentworth Miller on their side or is he completely neutral?
But he does come across slightly sinister in those scenes. Even the way that he's shot and lit in those scenes give him a slightly sinister aspect. I did notice that when I was watching it back again.
So even that first one when they're in the locker room and he's just asking if he's okay, it's almost like he's fishing for something.
Yeah. Like there's something else to the relationship. Something else going on. It's all very implied.
Which I must admit does actually bring in an interesting twist, possibly, angle, I don't know.
What's that?
Well, again, you've got... when we get to the dynamic between Craven and Edward, because it's clear that he's into Celine.
Yes.
Do we want to make it that he's into Edward?
Yeah, why not? Why not? It creates an interesting dynamic and feeds into Thingy's jealousy as well. But
also this adds in another element to another interesting, possibly a layer as well, because all of this is going on.
Jack to add layers to this movie.
Cool. But Edward knows it's going on because he can read everyone's thoughts.
Of course it is,
so
yes.
he knows that
so
she's...
it's
up,
all terribly humdrum to him. He knows all of it. He knows that Craven's been lying the whole time. First break point.
That is the first break point. Have 3 gold stars for
Thank
that.
you.
Oh.
Unless Craven mysteriously has the same ability that Bella has, i.e. unreadable, that's the only conceivable way that Edward is not going to have known at some point, especially during these confrontations during this plot, because it's all on his mind. He's going to be worried about, because he's always worried about getting found out, and because he keeps going back to Lucian going, you're fucking things up, man, you're spoiling the plan.
He's going to fucking know.
He's going to know.
Have we just broken this already?
I don't know if we've broken it, but I think we've fundamentally altered the plot if it doesn't break.
If we want to keep running with it, I think what we're going to have to say is...
Right, okay, well we've got, let's look at this logically. He has 2 things on his mind. One, Bella was being pursued by these Lycans for a particular purpose. Mm-hmm. What is that purpose? Also, Craven lied about his heroic past, and Lucian isn't dead. Yeah. Now, lying about his heroic past is probably less important than finding out what the Lycans were up to, but knowing that he knows Lucian's alive, can you tell me why Edward wouldn't immediately try to raise Victor?
The only reason why I think he wouldn't raise Victor straight away is he would like to be able to present as much evidence as possible. He knows this because it's his ability to know it. But he doesn't know what the link is with Bella. Also, as much as, Edward's not as...
He's not, Celine, he's not the death dealer.
Yeah.
He would investigate. Okay, yes. All right. But we've added a wrinkle.
We have.
And we've added a layer.
This
onion is forming.
Rather than doing the whole research bit that Celine does, he just picks something up. It's that ability that allows him to make that connection.
I've got it. All right. So he knows this. He's during this process, it's going to become apparent to the incredibly psychic Edward.
Yes.
These basic facts. He has a choice. The Lycans are hunting this mortal for a particular purpose. Either find the mortal or find the purpose before they find the mortal.
Yes.
But this thing is happening. I could confront Craven, but everyone in this chantry is an acolyte of Craven. If I stand against him, I stand against all of them. Go get evidence.
Ka-ching, ka-ching, ka-ching.
Take it to Victor.
Yeah, like it.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
I love that. Whew.
Like we just saved that. There's a dynamic there.
Yes.
But it means that scene when she has that conflict about whether or not to wake Victor, no. I must wake Victor. The only time is when do I have enough evidence to wake Victor?
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter, because that leads Edward down the path towards Bella and the confrontation with Lucian.
It does. There are other factors that will be clouding Craven's thoughts, so things like the meeting with the envoy from Amelia's imminent arrival, so his connection to Lucian is mixed up in all of these current events as well.
Yeah.
Which is a reason why he doesn't pick it up straight away.
No. Amelia's part of the plan, remember? They were always going to take the blood of an elder.
They were always going to take the blood of an elder, yes. But Craven is so insecure within himself, he gets so wound up about the
party and the party.
Things.
These
surface thoughts may just push through what's really going on.
He's being the toreador in this situation. Yes, we're gonna play into sycophancy a little.
So yes, the confrontation with Lucian.
Mm-hmm.
I think should we lean into the other vampire, also the other werewolf mythology there, that it's a wound from a werewolf, not specifically a bite. Because if he takes as big a bite as he does out of Michael, he's going to take half a fucking head off.
Because Hollywood.
I just thought it might be easier, because I always thought that was stupid as well, that he takes that bite, and none of the vampires just even smell the fact that he's got an open wound. He's got fresh blood coming out for about a day.
Oh, yeah, I know, that doesn't make any sense. That's because plot.
Yeah.
That is because plot.
I was only going to suggest in opposition to that, to try and dot that I and cross that T, is she scratches her on the arm or something. At least it's something that she can cover.
Well, he covers it anyway, because it's on the shoulder. It's not on the neck. It's on the shoulder. Because his whole t-shirt, even though he's wearing the t-shirt, it's covering the wound. It's not until she gets really close to notice that the t-shirt's wet and she pulls it back to see the wound.
I need to watch it again. Yeah, fair enough.
I know because Hollywood, but the established mythology is it's the bite that does the damage in this universe. Because again, it's mentioned multiple times, nobody survives a bite from both species.
Yeah, that is true. The only other thing then I suppose that I was going to ask about is when she goes back to the hospital.
Yes.
Oh, actually, I've got one thing before that. There's an opportunity for a lovely moment of tension between Craven and Edward, because when she jumps out the window, which we're assuming that she's going to do to get away after the revelation, after Erica discovers the bite.
Yeah.
And she runs to the gates. They set the dogs on her.
Yeah.
I can't see Bella being able to climb over those gates. So again, that was another break point I had. Does she get mauled by dogs, or is there some moment for a standoff between Craven and Edward for him to be able to get to her before that?
If we want to play into that love triangle that we accidentally created, thank you, Bobian, then maybe we should have that confrontation because it's conflict within that love triangle.
Yeah, okay.
If we're going to play into those tropes, let's play into those tropes. So maybe that's the delay that gives her the chance to get... Because, she could climb over the wall. eventually she'll find a bush or a brick missing or whatever. She will eventually get over the wall. It's about being delayed enough so that the dogs don't go after her immediately. Yeah. That confrontation could easily do it, and it would create tension within this triangle of ours.
Cool. Happy with that. It's just when I'm thinking about Bella from Twilight, I thought the other scene with Wentworth Miller, when he goes off and gets the police and they come back.
Yes, yeah, the second scene in the hospital. Yeah.
I can almost imagine her just sitting there waiting patiently for him. Just like, oh yeah, he'll be back in a minute.
Does that happen in this act?
I mean, I called the actor, obviously, when she goes to wake Victor, which is after this.
Oh, no, you've just called a second breaking point.
That's what I thought, is that she would just sit there and go, oh yeah, I'll be back in a minute. She's not suspicious in that respect.
She's a fairly trusting soul, and she's a lot younger than Michael. She's a lot more naive. Can you think, is there a reason why she would do something that would cause her to notice what's going on around her?
The only thing that I would suggest is that because so much weird stuff has been happening, it may put her on edge.
Yes, that would explain it. I mean, she has been kidnapped several times.
Yes. She has been attacked by somebody who's bitten her.
Been in a car crash.
Mm-hmm. Seen people who... Oh no, she doesn't see the werewolves running along the walls, does she? But she knows something's attacking her home and things like that. That's the only thing that I can think. She's nervous enough that she can't sit still, is pacing up and down, and just happens to glance through the window in the door and sees him coming back with the cops.
For the sake of movie.
We do allow that occasionally.
For the sake of movie.
Okay.
But there is another version of this film that ends right there.
Where they get her and the plan succeeds.
Yeah. But I think that more or less...
It does bring us to the end of Act 1.
And the waking of Victor.
Oh, Bill Nighy.
Bill Nighy is a fantastic vampire, I have to admit. It really surprised me how well he pulled that off.
Yeah.
There's some lovely gravitas in his performance, I have to admit.
It is fantastic. I remember watching it. That was probably the first thing I actually recall seeing him in.
Oh, right.
And I was just like...
You know, actually, no, I must have seen him in something before that.
Have a think, let us know next time.
Indeed, I'll try to remember. I'm sure it's one of those...
Debar. We have got through Act 1 with 2 breakpoints.
2 breakpoints. It's so close, you can see the cracks.
Yeah.
At the edge of the frame, creeping in, guys.
At the very least, then, we will have an episode next Wednesday. If it goes any further, yeah, who knows. Until then, again, as always, please do look after one another and have a great weekend. And maybe we will be back with our household god. Maybe not, who knows. Until then, take care.
As always, guys, TTFN.
Ba 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 ba.